guys, what's going on? It's Andrew from AR Media. In tonight's video, I want to review the Tree of Life Criterion Blu-ray. Now, this just came out on Tuesday, and I got my chance to pick it up. And this is a very special package Criterion put together. So what comes in this is the theatrical version, as well as a brand new, never-before-seen extended version. And this is not just extended by a couple of minutes. This is 50 minutes of never-before-seen footage, all put together in a new packaged movie that is 3 hours and 8 minutes long. So for all you Terrence Malick fans like myself, this is definitely a treat. So I actually did not see this one, so this was a blind buy for me. So let's go over the movie briefly. Now I will say that going out of this movie, this is a philosophical epic that is really very hard to explain in any sort of plot, because although there is a plot, there really is no narrative structure to this. It uses a sort of hypnotic narrative, a subconscious narrative, where you're in the mind of Sean Penn's character on the anniversary of his brother's death as he's walking through memory lane in his head subconsciously, and you're just seeing little memories all throughout childhood, throughout him and his father's relationship, him and his mother's relationship. I mean, memories from birth all the way to being a grown-up, and so many things to relate to in this movie. And the cinematography and the shots are just so gorgeous. They really blow you away. You're seeing these little shots that are not even complete scenes. They have very little dialogue, but you could relate to them because they relate to a memory that you had, and it plays like a memory you have. It doesn't play as a full sequence. It plays by a certain smell you had or a certain detail you saw that day that may have been important to you in your memory, but overall wasn't important to the big scheme. And that's where this movie really comes into play. This movie dives into creation. This movie dives into space and the solar system, nature. I mean, this even goes into dinosaurs. So I would not recommend this movie to someone who is not patient. Someone who did not like 2001: A Space Odyssey, I would not recommend this movie to, although it definitely provokes a different emotion. But for film goers who really are looking for something different or looking to dive a bit deeper, I found this movie to be moving, and I found the ending to be just breathtaking. One of the best climaxes in a movie. I was breathless after I saw this movie, and I just think the amount of emotion this movie can convey just basically by visual poetry is beyond me. So now let's get to the transfer on this disc and what Criterion did with this. So this is a nice digipack, and this comes with a nice booklet, pretty long booklet with a bunch of essays in it, a bunch of interviews in it, some nice artwork in it. So very nice of Criterion to include that. It comes with the theatrical edition as well as that extended edition like I spoke about. Now, the picture quality here on the theatrical and extended edition look great. These are 4K restorations and they look absolutely stunning. But what I will say is the extended cut looks very different from the theatrical. You'll see a difference in the color timing. The color correction is different in the extended. I personally prefer the extended. The framing is actually different on the extended. Some of the shots are a bit wider or framed differently. And overall, I could see a bit more depth and a bit more detail on the extended version than I can on the theatrical. Now, I'm not sure if more time and effort was taken into that restoration, but I can tell you that it does look superior. And I did do some A and B comparisons, and it's definitely noticeable, especially in the color. You will notice that right away. But I will say that this is a home run for Criterion. This movie looks absolutely phenomenal, and partially that's because Terrence Malick is just a master behind the camera, and some of the shots in this movie are just visual. It's artwork. I mean, you could leave it on your screen just while you're doing anything, while you're doing any mundane task, and the imagery in this movie is just so beautiful. I really wish this was a 4K HDR Blu-ray. This would look phenomenal with HDR, but sadly Criterion hasn't jumped on that train yet. Now let's get to the audio quality. So this has the same audio mix as the Blu-ray did. This is a DTS HD mix, and it is a very good mix, although I do think something like immersive audio like Atmos or DTS-X would heighten this mix. There's a lot of classical music, a very, very epic score in this, and I think that would do very well with all the different height channels, although the surround mix on this was very good as well. Dialogue was clear when it needed to be, although there isn't much dialogue in this movie. So anyway, guys, this is a very hard movie to really review. It's going to be a love it or hate it for sure, and some people will really hate it. This is a test of patience for some people, but for me, I was glued to the screen. The imagery here is just off the charts. The meaning behind this movie is really off the charts for me too. This movie is about grief. This movie is about understanding life and death. And this movie just has so many themes wrapped up in it that you will get something out of it that somebody else will not. And I really treasure that. And I think it is a very unique viewing experience and one that should definitely be seen on this 4K restoration in the extended cut if possible. Now, anyway, guys, let me know down below if you have any questions about this movie. I'm not going to say it's going to be a day one pickup or anything like that because I'm not really sure who's gonna like this movie, but I say give it a try if you're into visual movies like Melancholia or 2001: A Space Odyssey, and if you're into more hypnotic storytelling. Even if you're into movies like Mulholland Drive from the Criterion Collection, I do recommend this. This was a hypnotic viewing experience and one that is definitely going to climb its way to the top 10. Anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next one.